All right, thank you for the introduction. Hello everyone, my name is Nico, I'm DevRel at Ledger, and today we embark on a retrospective journey through the evolution of blockchain wallets. So in this talk, we will explore how wallets evolved over the last 14 years or so, starting from the very first wallet up to the smart wallets that you hear about nowadays. So we have a lot of history to go through, so let's get started. Fellow Ethereans, welcome to the tale of the wallet. Yep, I will need the slides, please. Production, if you can give me Yep. All right, small technical issue. Can I get the slide keeper? Oh, this is it? Okay. My bad. All right. So, our story begins in the digital realm, the 9th of January, 2009, in a country called SourceForge. A mysterious individual or group dropped a piece of software that was about to make history. This day marked the birth of the first blockchain, Bitcoin. A lot of the noise focused on the blockchain itself, but much less around its key component, the wallet. So everyone wanted to learn and to talk about the blockchain. But to interact with the blockchain, you need a wallet. And unluckily for our pioneers, the wallets at the time were pretty rough. Bitcoin Core was the first wallet, and it was offering random key generations. So it means that there was no real structure behind this key generation, so you had to back up a lot of keys if you didn't want to lose all your coins. But hey, Bitcoin Qt had your back. Bitcoin Qt is what you see here. It's the first graphic user interface to use the Bitcoin wallet client. And in order to avoid the necessity to have a backup for each transaction, it was caching up by default 100 keys in a pool of reserve key. So Bitcoin Qt had your back only if your back wasn't very large. And unfortunately, the pioneers had very large backs. So at the time, a lot of keys were lost. And 3 years later, in 2012, a night, Peter arrived with a new system. It was called BIP32, which stands for Bitcoin Improvement Proposal 32. And it's a standard that uses elliptic curve mathematics to allow one to calculate a set of keys from a unique private key without revealing it. So this unique private key is called the master, and from this master key, you can generate a tree-like structure of child keys, each of which has its own address that can be used to send or receive coins. So the main benefits of the BIP32 is that you only need to remember or back up one secret. And when needed, you can derive all the child keys and their public address, all this without needing to store each individual key. So now, instead of having to store hundreds of secrets, you only needed to store one. And this was an amazing jump forward for the wallet security and the user experience. It allowed thousands of users to enter the blockchain space and to enjoy the powers of blockchain. But what's even more interesting for us today is the process through which Peter went through. So basically, he observed the wallet system that was in place, and he found that it was flawed or not efficient enough, so he came with an improvement proposal. This improvement proposal didn't happen in one day. It was challenged, tested, discussed a lot, and in the end, it was adopted. So we can see this as a victory in battle. And for the night, the ultimate reward is the adoption. So Peter was the first knight to come back alive from the great battle. He inspired many others to follow his path and improve the wallet system. So this marked the beginning of the wallet improvement journey that is still going on today. And this talk, this tale, is the story of the brave people that gave their sweat and tears to help us protect our secrets. The following years, in 2013, a group of 4 knights appeared in the digital realm. Their names were Marek, Pavel, Aaron, and Sean, and they came to improve the system that was in place. They were very familiar with BIP32, which they knew very well, but they thought it was lacking of something for humans' interaction. Because even though Peter made it very easier to store only one secret, that secret was still looking like 5HQT or, well, a very long alphanumeric string. And it's something that is very difficult to explain to someone that is not into cryptography, and mass adoption was not going to happen with those very long strings as keys. So they went to the battle with a new horse, a new proposal that is BIP39. And basically, what BIP39 does is that it describes the implementation of mnemonic sentence or mnemonic code. It's a group of words that are easy to remember and that represent your secret. So it's exactly the same as the secret that you had before, only now it's represented by a few words that are chosen from a list of 2,048 words. Usually when I say that, people are like, oh, but I would like to be able to choose my own word, and in order to remember it more easily. Well, that's a mistake, because first, you shouldn't even try to remember your master secret, your secret phrase, because this makes you very vulnerable to what we call the $5 wrench attack, meaning that anyone in the street can just beat you up and make you say the phrase. And second, if someone say France, I'll leave the stage. Second, it's also, humans are very bad to choose words and to choose passwords. So if I were to ask this crowd to choose your secret phrase, we would probably end up with a collision of 2 people choosing Messi is the best player in the world as a secret phrase. So here we've got our night table. It's basically where the knights are discussing ideas that can improve the system. Early on, this discussion happened on a forum called Bitcoin Talk. And thanks to Web Archive and waybackmachine.com, you can go and check these discussions that are pretty amazing. You can find some very fun stories, like you might find the fact that Vitalik used to work on a browser extension, a Bitcoin wallet called CryptoKit. You can find a lot of the ideas that shaped the ecosystem that we have nowadays. And the legitimate heirs of Bitcoin Talk are nowadays like Ether Magicians, Ether Research, and different groups in the Ethereum ecosystem where you have the same types of discussion. So 2013 was a very prolific year for the wallet journey. Once again, Marek and Pavel went to the battlefield to propose a new standard that has been widely implemented. It's BIP44. It allows the handling of multiple coins, external and internal chains per account. So here, the concept of like internal and external chains relates to the UTXO model. So the UTXO model is the transaction model in Bitcoin. And basically, when you spend a transaction in Bitcoin, you have to spend the entire amount that is in the address that initiates the transaction. And if you don't want to send all your money away, you send some back to yourself in a change address. So the chain of change address is called the internal chain because it's not meant to be seen outside of the wallet. And the external chain is basically the receiving address that everyone uses. And this standard, even though it's specific to Bitcoin, basically paved the way for all the different coins that you know today. So if you go on GitHub, if you go on this GitHub from this VIP, you can find the list of all the derivation paths for every coin. So for Ethereum, it's 60. Let's go. And to make it simple, BIP44 is like a treasure map that gives you indication to where your coins are stored. So BIP39 is like the map, all the BIP32 is like the map, all the possible derivation paths and stuff. And BIP44 structures that in a way that Ethereum coins are always going to be stored in this precise location. And BIP44 is the specification of this. So it's a super important concept because every other ecosystem is building on top of this. And then the same year came the era of hardware wallets. This time, in the physical realm, a few people decided to drastically improve the security of wallets. So the thing is, computers are not secure. They're not made to store secrets. And you can be one of the best developers in the world with one of the most complex schemes to hide your secrets on various servers or various laptops. You are still an easy target compared to a 5-year-old that is storing its secret on a secure element. And we will come back to what is a secure element later. So a very good example of this is this year, Luke Dash Jr., which is one of the Bitcoin Core developers. Even though he's one of the very talented developers with an amazing understanding of blockchain, he got all of his coin drained because basically he was not using hardware. So many people are doing this mistake, even nowadays, and the secure element is basically what prevents you from doing this mistake. It's what you see here. It's basically a small chip or a small computer, if you wish, that has been designed to store secrets and to prevent unauthorized access, which means it has been designed to store secrets and to be resilient to the fact that someone has physical access to it. This technology is very well known. It's actually in your credit card, in your IDs, in your passport. It has been around for much longer than cryptocurrencies. And it has been, because it has been there for so long, it has been tested very hard, and we know this is the most resilient way to store secrets. So what you see here on the top is the HW1. It's the hardware wallet 1. It's basically the first hardware wallet to have a smart card. And, well, it's a piece of history. Today, we keep them in our museum in the center of France. And what you see below is the newest version of the infamous Nano S. It's the Ledger Nano S Plus. So the Nano S is the device that I think we sold more than 3 million of them, making it the most widely used hardware wallet device in the world. And this improvement, the fact that having a dedicated hardware, it allowed millions of people to join the blockchain. It allowed millions of people to sleep in peace without having to worry about the security of their digital assets. But security is a journey. And actually, it's more like an infinite battle, a never-ending battle. There is no such thing as perfect security. That's why, at Ledger, we have the Dungeon. The Dungeon is the security team. They are very talented hackers that are always trying to break stuff, and they do break stuff. They broke hardware wallets that were not using secure elements, software wallets that had poor cryptographic implementations, and probably a ton of stuff that they will never tell me. And each time they found something, they do what we call a responsible disclosure, which means they get in touch with the owner of the system that has been hacked, and they explain to him the vulnerability in order for them to patch it, and then revealing it to the public. And this system actually is very positive for the ecosystem, because everyone gets stronger when you do this. And that kind of adversarial thinking is what makes resilience in an ecosystem, whether it's a cryptocurrency ecosystem or whatever security-related ecosystem. And not only this, they also run the bounty program. So they continuously review bounty submissions from hackers all around the world that are trying to break some of our tech. And sometimes, when someone finds a bug, he gets to join the Hall of Fame, where you can see all the gladiators that managed to find a bug. To be very transparent, getting featured here is like insanely hard. I will never. And if there is one gladiator that is worth mentioning in the history of hardware wallets, it's this guy, BTChip. BTChip is the co-founder of Ledger, and basically he was an expert in smart card technology way before cryptocurrency were a thing. So it's a fun story. Like usually when you hear about very successful entrepreneurship stories, we hear that you need to find a problem, a specific problem, and design your product to solve that problem. Well, for him, it was the absolute opposite. He had a product, he knew how to run code on a smart card, but Bitcoin wasn't there. So he had this super cool technology, but no use case. So for a few years, he was basically selling those smart cards for advertisement. So the very first wallet, the HW1 that you've seen, the version before was just a terrible advertisement like that you put in your USB slot and it pops you a pop-up site. So it's kind of probably the most lame use case that you can think for such an amazing technology. But Bitcoin came, and since then, he has a very, very good use case. It's to store cryptographic secrets and to use the code to run transactions and do whatever you want to do with the blockchain. And here we arrive to Ethereum wallets, finally. This is an Ethereum conference, and I've been speaking for Bitcoin, mostly about Bitcoin for a long time. Why? Because actually the wallet's history is made this way. So if you want to understand deeply Ethereum wallets, you gotta go through that little piece of history. So the first Ethereum wallet was named Ethereum Wallet, or MIST. It was built by the Ethereum Foundation. It was a great product. It was the wallet that launched the ERC20 standards, so the token standard that you all use today. But building a wallet is very hard. And the Ethereum Foundation realized that pretty quickly. One of the major issues that they had was the necessity to sync a node in order to run the wallet. So you had to sync the entire blockchain in order to use the wallet. At the beginning, it was very fine, it was working great, but then the blockchain grew. And when the blockchain grows a lot, it becomes very, very hard to sync an entire node. And yeah, for newcomers, it was a big pain point. On top of that, it was built on Electron, which is a great framework for web app or on desktop. But it is built for apps that use their own trusted JavaScript files. But when you are building a browser wallet, such as Mist, you are, by definition, running random codes from unknown people around the world. And this is very tricky. So they had a couple of security issues with it, and they decided that it was for the better to stop that project and to let other teams work on wallets. And the first very, very successful one was MyEther Wallet. So here you can see Taylor. She co-founded MyEther Wallet. I think she's doing security at MetaMask nowadays, if I'm not mistaken. And she's also a huge contributor to the security of the ecosystem because she's doing scams investigation, helping people with their security issues. So she's an amazing contributor to this ecosystem. Shout out to her. And yeah, so she built MyEther Wallet, great wallet. It was the first actually to integrate with us, with Ledger. So it made Ledger the first hardware wallet to support Ethereum. It's a very good wallet that does the job very well to handle what we call EOAs. So EOAs are externally owned accounts, and they are basically the accounts that you use all the time. They are the accounts that you have on your MetaMask, whatever. It's the native Ethereum account, if you wish. And as I said, it has been the way we use the Ethereum network for many years. But some of the coolest thing in Ethereum comes from smart contracts. What is really cool with Ethereum is that you can do all that programmable stuff with the smart contract. And from the very beginning of Ethereum, the builders thought it would be cool to be able to do all that kind of stuff with wallets, to have a wallet that can do very complex and programmable stuff. Vitalik gave an amazing talk about this at ECC. I encourage you to watch it if you want to see the full history of how they arrived to those ideas. But basically, smart contracts are allowing a lot of things. And it took a lot of times, as I said, you can watch the full history of this, to arrive to 4337, which is the standard that is pushed nowadays. So we talk about account abstraction, but account abstraction is the idea. The end user, the new innovation for the end user is basically what we call the smart contract wallets. And those wallets are going to be very different from what we've known. They're going to change a lot of stuff in the mechanism that I've just shown you, like the seed phrase, the recovery phrase. This stuff was an heritage, a legacy of the past, of the Bitcoin past. And with this new implementation, we are moving towards something that is very different, and that will be mostly based on Ethereum properties, which are into smart contract. So let's dive in a little bit into the cool things that you could do with Smart Wallet. I'm going to go quickly because running out of time. Social recovery. So one of the main problems with regular wallets is that you have a private key, and if you lose that private key, that's it. End of the game, you lost. But with Smart Wallet, it's going to enable what we call social recovery, which is to have various keys that have different set of rules that can recover the wallet. So for example, I'm a huge crypto user. I work at Ledger, that's my job. If I don't do a transaction for 1 year, I'm likely dead. I'm sure I'm dead. So with a smart wallet, I could say a rule like, if for 1 year there is no activity on that smart wallet, then the owner becomes, I don't know, my brother, anyone. So that's an amazingly powerful feature. We can do many more stuff. We can do automated payment, session keys. So I could sign one time with my smart wallet for 1 hour, 2 hours. I could open a signing session. And yeah, this is amazing because then I will not have to confirm and to sign every transaction. So if you take the use case of video games, for example, video games, you have to do a lot of stuff. You have to fight, to buy equipment, whatever you want to do. And if you want to have Web3 games and you expect that your users are going to sign transaction at every action on chain, it's going to be tough. It's going to be you play the game 5 minutes, you sign transaction 1 minute, you play the game 5 minutes, and it's not going to be a good experience. And session key basically will allow you to have a game where, in this game, the guy can do whatever. On top of that, you can have the paymaster. So the paymaster is a great property of smart wallets. It allows a different contract to pay for the gas of the wallet. One of the big problems for crypto adoption, especially with the Ethereum network, has been the gas problem. It's a pain to pay gas, and for newcomers, it's even more pain because sometimes they want to just have USDC, they just want dollars, they don't want to get into volatile crypto, and they realize that they need some ease to pay for the gas. That has been a very big issue over the time, and with Paymaster, you can solve that issue. A company can decide to sponsor all the transaction of a specific wallet. So this is great. It offers a lot of new business opportunities, a lot of new features. Security-wise, it's going to be also very cool because you're going to have the ability to program rules. Let's say I want my cell phone to be part of my wallet, but this is not a hardware wallet. This is not a hardware device, and anyone can steal my phone. So I can put a rule on that and say this phone can only spend up to $20, $30. So worst case, I lose my phone, I lose $30. I go back home, I take my main signer, which will be a ledger, and I will kick my phone out of the wallet, and that's it. End of the day. And this is gonna change our industry. And those little robot wallets are about to change our ecosystem. So will you build one of them and write your name in the tail of the wallet? Thank you for your attention.